Hi. Okay, now it's getting great. So first of all, I want to say thank you for the invitation, Simone. It's a really, really huge thing for me to be here today because I've never been to South Africa before. I've actually never been to Africa before, and I enjoyed a couple of nice days in Cape Town so far, and this really is so overwhelming for me, so thank you very much for this. And yeah, let's start with this topic. So first of all, a short hands up, who knows the game that this is referencing to? Nice, okay. So this is a quote from Among Us, a game where you are at a space station and you're working together with multiple people. You can, I think, 4 or 5 at last, and it goes up to, I don't know, 10 or 20. And you are working in the space station and trying to survive, but you have some imposters beyond you. And the imposters sabotaging the space station, and you have to find out where the imposter is. And the imposters also kill the people. But I can say so far today's topic is not about killing people. So I'm looking at you, Jade. I know where you are. Yeah, so it's about the imposter syndrome, as you might suggest it or already know, and I would like to start with it. So this is Nicole. Nicole is not an imposter. This is actually me. I don't know if you've seen the other image of me before. The haircut changes a lot. And yeah, I or she is 34 years old. Her hobbies are video games, as you might expect it, drawing, board games, pen and paper, role-playing games, also with Accso colleagues, which is quite funny from time to time. And I'm also a dog mom of Monty. And Monty has also an Instagram account, and I know it's a bit embarrassing, but we're talking about feelings today, and this is my overwhelming reveal. Yeah, I joined Accso at 2017, which is 6 years, not 7, but it's okay. I'm a managing consultant. I'm mostly working as a backend developer. My most favorite programming language is Java. And in my current project, I'm also working as a business analyst, and besides other roles within Accso, I'm also a Personalverantwortliche, which is a really nice word that can't be translated that easy. It's basically, so we can shorten it up as PV. It's some kind of coach for employees, for, in my case, especially young professionals who start at Accso. It is a kind of mentoring role. It's a supervisor position. We also do interviews with applicants. Did I pronounce it correctly? Okay. And we support our new starters, our young professionals, also by developing themselves to a certain, maybe programming languages or where they want to go, finding trainings for them, and yeah, be there in difficult situations, for example, in their projects. And we, of course, help them to integrate in the project team when they start new. But now let's go to the topic of the evening, the imposter syndrome. And I have to say that I'm not some kind of life coach or something, but I experienced this before, because since it started, I guess, 6 years ago, maybe, when finishing university. I thought, I'm not that good as I should be now, where I'm done and finished and should join a real company and do real work and get money for this. And unfortunately, that didn't stop directly. So even 3 years after I switched the project, I was working in a project and felt very well, and then this project ended, and the imposter syndrome rised again because, oh God, I just know this one project, I only know this code base, I can't do anything, and this is not a nice feeling, and maybe some of you know that, I don't know, and this is why I want to talk about it today. So what is the imposter syndrome? I will now unveil or reveal some phrases. You can find these tests, these like psychological tests in the internet everywhere whenever you search for imposter syndrome. And you can think about yourself if some of this applies to you. So, I am not enough. I am only briefly happy about success, if all. I am constantly afraid that someone will expose my incompetence. Wait a second. I rarely or never ask for help. I do not like compliments. I think my environment overestimates me. I attach great importance of what other people think. So Nicole from, I guess, 6 years ago would have said yes to 80% of this, and Nicole from 3 years ago would have said yes to every point of this. And Nicole from today says actually one is still very important for her. The other things are not that bad anymore. So the imposter syndrome, as you might have seen, is a lot about self-doubt. So people who suffer from this think they are just there because, in their current position because of some coincidences, of luck maybe, or because of people not knowing that they actually suck. And they constantly fear that someone will find this out, and then everything, will go down the river. And just going back to this, it's not an actual sin, it's not a disease or something. It's some kind of psychological phenomenon that people found out and that were researched quite a lot, especially during the last days, because these topics rise more attention from year to year, actually. And it's kind of hard to find out who is really affected by this. It's when I stumbled upon it for the first time, it was like I read an article that especially women are affected by the imposter syndrome, and this was the first time I heard of it, and I thought, that's me. And it was so helpful that just knowing that other people are thinking this as well. But the more you read, the more you see that it's not actually a woman's problem. There are really a lot of statistics who analyze this, and it sees that men and women are nearly affected by the same range, so to say. And I found this systematic review of multiple statistics. So it were, I think, starting from 1966 until 2018, and it were, I don't know, I actually forgot how many statistics that were, but this systematic review just gathered all the collections from all these different statistics and found at least out or summarize how many people are suffering or affected by this, which is starting by 9% to, in other statistics, up to 82%, which, what does it mean? It's basically based on the statistic they are doing and on the questions they are asking. And I talked with a colleague about it just a week ago and told him that I'll be here and have this talk. And he said, well, we all have this from time to time, right? And I think maybe it's true, but saying we all is maybe a bit too much because it's never all of them. But the thing is, when this fear reaches a certain amount of anxiety, or when it hits some level, then people are, then this is really affecting the people's daily life, their work, and their daily business, so to say. And there are two ways, when you read the articles, they say there are two ways to handle them. For one, they just work and work and work and do more and do overtimes, and which at some point in time will reach a burnout. And others are trying to avoid all this and this whole situation and hide and don't go to meetings anymore. And this really, this tackles their daily business, which could also lead to depression at some point in time. So it's actually good to know that something like this exists, especially for yourself, but also when you're some kind of CEO or PV, Personalverantwortlicher, anybody who has employees beneath them who can also help them, consult them, and see that they have problems and issues that can be, that has to be recognized by those people as well. So let's come to the fighting of the imposter syndrome. The first thing that helped me a lot is the thing that I'm doing here right now is talk about it. So go to your colleagues, also to your family, to people who know you, who see what you do all the day, tell them how you feel. And especially I recognize it in my colleagues, with my colleagues, but also within my family, that also other people have exactly the same. And this is so strange because I always thought, especially someone will find out, it's gonna, I will die, I don't know, and this is just something that my brain makes up, and their brains do this too. This really, really helped. Accepting compliments is also something, I don't know if it's German thing or if it's all over the world the same, that when you get a compliment, for example, from a colleague who says, oh, that was a nice, you did this nice, you made a great commit, and you say, nah, that wasn't so bad, just a small thing. It's basically a bit mean of you just to say, nah, because this person really meant it, and he says it because he liked what he saw, and to just say, you basically say that he's wrong, and this is nothing that I want to do. And you should take this with you, that someone liked what you did, and believe him. It can also be good to collect evidences, so write down where you suck, what you did wrong, and maybe you find out that there is nothing, but maybe you also find out that there are topics, for example, you can't, or you hit some timeline or something, you weren't able to finish something, then you can work on this. And you see, like we do in an agile project, you inspect and adapt, and you take less tasks, for example, or just work with it and do better next time. Also, ordering your thoughts. Wait a second, I take a sip. Is something really strong, because the way we think do have a great impact to our reality. So if we always think bad and negative, then we'll transport it to the outside. But if we think positive and stay positive and be positive to ourselves, then it will also affect our daily life. I once heard the story of, or actually a life coach, or a coach told me once, I don't know a story or a situation, and I don't know if you know this as well. I can imagine that many of you have some kind of best friend or partner, and this partner asks, or tells you that he or she has tomorrow a meeting or a presentation that she should do, and ask, I'm not gonna do it, I'm so afraid, and you will be there as a friend and say, hey, you're gonna make it, you always make it. You know that you can do it right, and you support this person you like. And to ourselves, we sometimes not that nice. We say, oh God, I suck, I will not make it, I can't do this, and I fail in tomorrow's meeting. And this is actually so mean of ourselves to do it to ourselves. Because, yeah, you are basically your most important person, otherwise you can't be there for other ones, the ones you like, the ones you love. And being good to yourself means, yeah, that changes a lot. Not always complaining about yourself. You can also be your own best friend. And the last thing is to visualize your successes. This is actually something that athletes do. I'm not the athlete type, so I can't say if this is true. But they visualize, for example, their goal in soccer, that in their soccer game that they have tomorrow, and they keep it in their brains and visualize how they do this awesome goal and they win and everyone celebrates them. This is also something like ordering your thoughts, so be positive, stay positive to the future, and just put this into your brain and code your brain like this. Visualizing afterwards can also be writing it down in diary, so if you go to if you have this fears, the next time you can go through your diary and read what you wrote last time, and you see that everything was great and that you really did a good job and that you can do it. But visualizing also means that you, maybe what I like to do is to celebrate the things when you did something good. So to go out with your colleagues to celebrate a release, to celebrate a sprint or whatever you achieved, and celebrate it, and just be there together with friends who will also support this and celebrate it with you. Yeah, that's basically it. You can stay connected with me if you scan this QR code, and yeah, thanks for listening. And
any questions? All right. Cool. Yes, go.
So you said that you are back-end developer. So at what point did you think that you were at what point did you say that this is back-end rather than front-end? Why?
it was actually not real a decision. I just did it. I actually learned quite I'm not good at front end, that's what I want to say. And I think you somehow develop to this point that is the most interesting for you, that you like the most. And I would actually love to be more full stack, but during work you have your projects, and this is also fine for me, so yeah.
Everyone was calling me. Hey, yeah?
Maybe it's quite easy to learn. You always, I guess this is one of the first things. And it's so widely spread that you find, if you have problems, you find really, really easy the solution for this in the web. It helps you a lot with different things. I started with C++, where you have to take care of garbage collection and something like this. And I'm really happy that I don't have to care about this anymore. No.
I'd like to know what advice would you give for a person that started with Java as a beginner?
Nicole, can you just repeat the question?
She asked what tips I would give a person who starts with Java as a beginner, and I would say just start. So maybe this is really the most important thing. Do, for example, trainings on the internet. There are a lot of YouTube videos, and I think it's really quite easy to get in there and just thinking about a project that you want to do and do this, and this could help. I just,
In terms of the different strategies for fighting imposter syndrome, which one do you think helps you the most when you start to feel like you're experiencing imposter syndrome?
So the question is, what of the fighting mechanisms help me the most when I tackle the imposter syndrome? I guess talking about it was really the switch that everything changed, because you feel so alone with it when you don't know about it, and people also now come to me and want to talk with me about it, and you all are welcome to do today's evening. I really think just let this out of your system and see that it's not actually, you are not an imposter, because imposters would act differently, I guess.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Last question? Okay, say two last questions before we break. Oh, sorry. You can grab it.
Yeah?
Okay. Thanks very much for the talk. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's enlightening. So you mentioned that you're based in Germany, right? And then for your program, you're like a mentor and coach. Is it like to all the employees in the company, or just the Germany branch?
No, it's also here in
South Africa.
yeah, and it's also that always just normal people from the company who does this beside their normal daily work.
Okay. Yeah, so my question is based around like geography, because in Africa or South Africa we're facing different challenges, and different challenges which are different in Germany. This is true for women and also like managerial. So I just wanted to ask, from your perspective, have you seen something different when it comes to the guys who are based in Germany or people who are based in Africa or South Africa, in terms of like when they consult you for guidance?
Okay. So I basically only have Germans as employees. So he asked if there is a difference between South Africa and Germany regarding, for example, when we are PVs and coaching and guiding our employees. And so I'm only guiding and coaching the German ones. We also have some kind of buddy system, so we German and South Africans stay connected with each other, which is also quite nice, and it's basically quite of the same without the supervisor role. And what I just experienced now that I came here is that it just feels like my company, so I actually don't feel a huge difference between South Africa and Germany now while working in it. So I really feel home and welcome here now that I'm here.
Right, and then last question.
I just want to know, in the previous slide you said you work as a managing consultant and a backend developer and a business analyst. I just want to know how on earth you manage all this.
So the managing consultant is our level. We start as junior software engineers and rise up to software engineers, senior software engineers, and then managing consultant, and there are a few above. So this is first some kind of tag that you get while developing through your career. And actually being a developer and a requirements engineer at the same time is not that easy. That's correct, because always something takes more time than the other, and the other will fall down somehow. But I'm currently managing it, but it's indeed a bit more work than normally.
Do you have any insights about how to manage the two different worlds?
So you asked about insights. Sorry that I forgot to repeat about insights of how to manage it. Currently it somehow manages itself. We always have some times where we do more development. We have some times where I need to be more there to prepare new requirements that will come after. And it's somehow time split it a bit. So 1 week the 2 weeks after, then the other. Something like this currently works good for me. You're welcome.
Can we have a hand for Nicole?